in this video for the Walker WP645TS-HD, we're going to show you how you can revert back from firmware version 3.8 back to firmware version 2.9. Okay, version 3.8 is what's known as the SAT-free firmware, which gives you the 70 EPG on the UK channels, but some people have found it a bit sluggish, maybe a bit buggy, things like this, and also it can impact on your free-to-air channel list. Okay, so this is why people might want to do this. So to do this, just simply download the version 2.9 firmware and put it on a blank memory stick, and with the box turned on, place it in the USB port on the front of the receiver, and after a few moments the USB stick will initialize and the firmware installation will kick off. Okay, so you can see there, this software version is 3.8, it's reverting back to 2.9. So this part of the process will only take a few moments, and then the box will reboot. So we'll just let it go through there and see. So a point to note, and it's very important to note, that when you're doing this, you need two files. You'll need the 2.9 version of firmware, and you'll need the channel list software. Okay, but you shouldn't put the two of them on the memory stick at the one time, because once you have the 2.9 firmware installed, you won't be able to load the channel list, because what will happen is the box will automatically just keep reloading the firmware. So at the point that when this is finished, you should delete the firmware off the memory stick and then put the channel list software onto it. Okay, so you should only have one file on a memory stick at a time for this particular procedure. So when the box is finished installing the firmware, it'll come back with a message like this, and it'll say, please remove the USB device and press OK to reboot your receiver. So I'm just going to remove the device here now, and it may reboot automatically itself, or you just press the OK button to reboot. Now what I should say is that under no circumstances when you're installing firmware should you ever power off the box or remove the USB device. Okay, that's the quickest way to destroy your box. So you just let the box do what it needs to do, and when it comes back and gives you the message, that's when you remove the USB stick. Okay, so the box is just rebooting here now at the moment, and it'll just take a few moments, and when it's finished then it'll come back with a first time installation menu. So at that point what we're going to do is we're just going to confirm that we're actually on 2.9, and then we're going to do a factory reset on the box, just to make sure, to be sure that we're actually, you know, all traces of 3.8 have gone. So when you come here, you'll just select your language as English, you change the time zone to 0, press OK, go to satellite scan, select direct, which is what most people would be using. You want to select your satellite, which is Astra 2, scan encrypted no, and press OK. And this will kick off a satellite scan. But what you want to do at this point is simply press the exit button. And you really want to cancel the scan, yes. See, we don't want to actually scan for the channels. We just want to get to a point where we can access the menu system. So this will just take a few moments, and it'll come back with the results, and we press OK to finish. So what we'll have now is a box with no channels on it, and it should be on version 2.9. That's what it should be telling us anyway. So we just wait for the next screen to come up. Okay, so we have a box with no channels have been added. Okay, so what we want to do is press the menu button, go into setup, go to configuration, and you can see their receiver upgrade. It says we're on 2.9, but we just want to make doubly sure that we are. So we'll hit the exit button, we'll press the menu button, we'll go into setup, and we'll go into installation, and what we'll do here now is go down to first time installation. It says, do you want to delete all channels and settings for first time installation? Yes. So what this will do is it'll actually bring us back to the screen we were at before, but the reason we're doing this is anytime you install a firmware upgrade, it's always a good idea to do a factory reset, just to clear any traces of previous firmware that may be on the box. So this will just take a few moments to come back now. So when it comes back then, we're going to go through a similar process of faking a scan exiting out of it, and then we're going to load the channel list. And before we do this, I'll just remind you that you should not have the firmware and the channel list on the same memory stick. If you were to do that now and put in the memory stick, it's just going to install the firmware again, because it automatically detects it and installs it from your memory stick. So you should only have the channel list software on your box at this, or on your memory stick at this stage. Okay, so we're going to select English, we're going to select time zone GMT 0, press OK, do satellite scan, select direct, select Astra 2, scan encrypted no, kick off the scan and then exit it immediately. Do you want to cancel? Yes. And then we're going to press the OK button to finish. Okay, so at this point, and only at this point, you should put in your memory stick that has the channel list software only on it. Again, can't stress enough, don't have the firmware on the memory stick at this point, because it'll just go through the installation process again. So you only want the channel list software. So I'm going to put the memory stick in to the box now, and I'm just going to give it a few moments to initialize. So you can see their USB device connected. So at this point, what you want to do simply is press the menu button. In quick succession, then press 2323. Scroll down here to load settings from USB. Are you sure to load default program table and settings? Yes. And it'll say database is restored, resetting. So the box will reboot at that point, and what will happen then is your box will come back with all the UK free-to-air channels preloaded from our channel list that we would have made up. Maybe there's 120 channels, something like that on it, okay, and they're all ordered in, you know, the order that you want. So at that point then you should go to the video guides section for the Walker WP645TS-HD. Okay, I'm just going to turn down the volume here, sorry. You should go to the video guides section for the WP645TS-HD and do your terrestrial scan for the Saorview channels. Okay, so that's a very simple process, and we've shown that in another video. But basically, if you wanted to do that at this point, you'd simply go to menu, you'd go to setup, you'd go to installation, and you do terrestrial automatic scan. And that would bring in all the Saorview channels, and that would be basically it. So that's it in a nutshell. It's a simple enough process. It does take a few minutes to do, but if you follow the instructions, you should be able to revert back to 2.9 quite easily. And that's basically it.